Alright, one last video critique to end out the week. So, today we're looking at Kanya's work, and, yeah, once again, we're mostly just looking at the setup, not really so much the image technique, although these are look pretty good as images as well. So, let's get going. My first impression here is that it's remarkably clean and well organized. Having a brother in the military, I recognize that service man or woman's training to keep things clean, and I think that is excellent. Um, yeah, it definitely is something that is enormously helpful. Um, Keeping your, partly keeping away clutter because it just is distracting. I know. I mean, I don't even have a super short attention span, and I get distracted by like all kinds of things in my field of vision. Unless I'm, once I get into it, then I can stay pretty well focused. But at the beginning and then shifting from one thing to another, I get distracted. So if you have like a nice, clean, non-distracting workspace, that is awesome. So yes, way to go. Um, I'm looking at the laptop here. I think that laptop is very well placed. You got a very neutral background. It's white. The computer screen with the half white, kind of half yellow. Um, a little less ideal, but again, it's fairly neutral yellow. I mean, it's going to tend to um, influence your vision somewhat. And the way that it actually works is fairly interesting. Your chemicals, or your eyes produce a chemical that allows you to perceive different colors. And if you stare at a certain color long enough, it actually basically exhausts that supply of chemical in your eye. So your eye more or less loses the ability to see that color to a certain extent. So yeah, I really don't think that in her case it would be really much of a factor, but like if you were to take, say, like a square of a bright colored paper. This is actually something I used to do all the time in the classroom, and you stare at it for, say, like a minute and try not to blink, or try to blink as little as possible, and then you take that piece of paper away, you'll actually see the opposite color that you were seeing there because your eye has exhausted the supply of that chemical that makes you perceive that color correctly. Um, so it's weird. It's crazy what our bodies do, and then there's like all kinds of things with our brains where they, you know, tend to. I, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little off topic here. Um, I find this stuff endlessly interesting, but it's not necessarily that appropriate to what we're talking about here. If you want to know more about that, feel free to email me, and I will tell you all about how your brain affects your vision and how your chemicals in your eye affect your vision, and on and on. Anyway, so um, I'm looking here, glancing over at what she wrote to accompany this. Um, she's got the full spectrum bulbs in the overhead light, very nice. Um, and yeah, it's getting a little tint from that globe. I mean, you could potentially take that. She's referring to this diffusing globe here that's hanging down off of there. You could take that off to eliminate that, but it's gonna cause your light to be more harsh in your room. Um, Again, I mean, you could replace it with something that didn't produce as much of a yellow cast. Um, or you can just, I mean, factor that in, say, okay, I know that my overhead bulb is going to produce a slight light. The other thing is always to get like a full spectrum bulb like that and just have it, switch off that overhead light and have that full spectrum bulb be your primary light source, in something like a floor lamp, something that's a little bit taller, so it's not casting light necessarily directly onto your screen. But I digress. Okay. Sorry. Hope you're not all totally bored right now. It's a very nice and clean space. I'm liking that quite a bit. And, oops, sorry. Okay. So, the window. Ideally, this, if you're working on the PC, or the desktop, is going to, you're going to get some glare here. Less so probably here. Again, the thing that a lot of people end up doing, and something that I do myself, is just to have a monitor hood. It comes out, maybe extends, so depending on the one you get, 4, 6, 8 inches out, and it'll just keep that glare from coming down here, extend up here and keep the glare from coming from the top and coming from the other side. They're fairly cheap to buy. I believe it or not, I'm not like wealthy or anything. I just made one. Because as cheap as it is to buy, it's also super cheap to make. Just some black cardboard. Sorry if I'm repeating myself from the other video critique, but yeah, it's something as simple as that, and then, just trying to keep those blinds closed when you're working, or, trying to do more of your work at night. I get a lot done at night, for a similar reason. I have a window, probably maybe a little bit further than this away from my monitor that I use primarily, that the monitor hood blocks a lot of that. I have, drapes, curtains that block a lot of it, and then, you work a little later in the evening. It also works well for me because my kids run around and scream, and if I work at night, then I work undisturbed, and it's a thing of beauty. So, yeah. It's not a huge room, but having your own room to do stuff in is so nice. Oh, look at that. You get a nice Epson printer. Is that an Epson? Looks like one. Oh, it could be a Canon. Did you show it on the bottom here? Sorry, I'm kind of getting a little off topic here, but I want to see. Oh, yeah, Epson. I am a fan of Epson, as some of you may know. Canon also. Really, Canon and Epson are two manufacturers that make really nice printers for printing photography grade stuff. So she's got her flatbed scanner. Yes, nice. I have one. Got one of those. Got your closet of gear. It's so nice just having all your stuff in one spot. And it's well organized. Good. So, sorry, I just keep talking and talking. But that's part of why I do what I do, because I like talking. Yeah, really, this looks pretty good. So you don't have really anything distracting. Yes, nice. There's a point. You have a nice neutral area here. That's nice. Obviously, and she talks about this in her written thing too. Getting something more neutral here would be nice. Or even just, I don't know if it sounds tacky or not, but even just like a big piece of neutral fabric, neutral, even just getting, if you took like a large square of cardboard, like maybe, say like 4 feet across and 4 feet tall, something in that neighborhood, and you painted it seal gray, and you stuck it behind here, that is something, seal gray is, shoot, I'm trying to think of who makes seal gray? I want to say like Sherwin-Williams or but anyway, go to your local hardware store, check out paint chips. Get like a seal gray. You know, you can get like the little tiny quart. Don't get a gallon. Get like a tiny one. Get a roller. And get a large piece of cardboard or fabric. Paint that guy neutral. You know, give it a couple coats. That's something that you put behind here. You don't have to paint the entire wall, but it gives you like a neutral backdrop. Make it big enough that it fills your sort of field of vision, and you have right there. You have a neutral gray backdrop. You don't have to paint your entire wall, and it's a fairly cheap way to go. And it's something that pretty much anyone can do. I mean, you're talking what, maybe $10 in supplies. Yeah, I mean that's, you know, you can buy other special custom, you know, photography things, but I'm all about simple because let me tell you, something that the manufacturers do is take any ordinary household object, figure out how to make it into a photo object, put the word photo on it, and triple the price. But, you know, they gotta make money like everyone. I'm just saying. You know, I mean, sometimes if you are willing to think outside the box like that, you can do things that, you know, give you what you need for, you know, tools for success, but they don't have to be expensive. So yeah, I totally sound like a guy off of one of these DIY shows or something. You can do it. Alright, anyway. I am kind of bothered. Ooh, Wacom tablet? Yes, yes, nice. So she's got her tablet. This is what I use. This is what I am currently using. Not this one. I think I have the Bamboo, the Wacom Bamboo. It's not a huge one, but this is nice. If you are doing any kind of image manipulation, these are nice to have. The tablet and the thing. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but I mean, you'd be surprised. If you got one, you know, within like a week, you'd be like, you know, kicking butt. Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is good. Thanks. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I think this is a really nice setup you got going here. You know, look at the things that I mentioned, and if those make sense to you, hey, I recognize that box. Then do it. But yeah, I think you really got a pretty nice setup here. So, once again, the code for this is octopus. Just write that, post that underneath where I posted the link for this to the YouTube, and I will know that you participated in this week's video critique. Thank you very much.